Hi YouTube, thanks for looking in. This is my daily astrology for Friday, the 9th of February 2018. I'm Andy. Hi, I'm in West Wales, United Kingdom, and it's 7:50 a.m. The moon entered Sagittarius yesterday, 7 minutes to 2 in the afternoon UK time, and is in Sagittarius right through until we enter Capricorn in the early hours of Sunday morning. But right now, yes, definitely a Sagittarius moon. She is 34.4%, and she's waning crescent now, under half full, because we went through half moon the other day. On our way down, the new moon is on the 15th of February, one day after Valentine's Day at 5 minutes past 9. So Valentine's Day could be interesting. It could be a good turning point, a time to, really get serious about relationships and either move them forward or make the changes that you need to change, because life is change and that does happen. That does become necessary. Still plenty of time to think about that. And the moon this morning, right this very minute as I speak to you, the next phase we're expecting is that she's going to square Neptune a little bit later on today. Conditions are confused and uncertain for that reason, and it can be a highly strung time. Feelings run high. Got to be careful you don't hit a nerve. Try not to push anyone's buttons. Try not to respond too much if someone pushes your buttons, because that really could happen. Mercury is conjunct the Sun at the moment. This tends to mean that we could be finding, important announcements being made. I've been saying that for a few days. I think that's going to come up soon, Leaders basically are under a lot of pressure, and they're likely to, actually make a big change of some kind. They'll certainly be planning it if they haven't announced it yet, and I haven't watched the news yet because I'm more interested in this. You only get what they tell you on the news. They only sort of tell you the side of things that they want everyone to know, and I guess they haven't got that much time to go into all the details in it. So I take that with a pinch of salt, and I take this kind of thing incredibly seriously. So we might see an announcement from leaders pretty soon. Mercury conjuncting the Sun, well, Mercury, the messenger of the gods, as I keep saying, has a lot to do with communication, and that can be travelling around, that kind of communication where transport gets involved, or it can be talking to people. Mercury isn't retrograde, hasn't been retrograde for a while. There's something coming up in April there, and the foreshadow no doubt begins towards the end of March, but we are safe from Mercury retrograde, so things should be at least that much straightforward. But when Mercury conjuncts the Sun, particularly the transport side of the issues is really something to be taken into consideration. Certainly not worried about, but just leave plenty of time to get places. I wouldn't buy any shoes today, that kind of thing, but that's getting it a bit too far into the nitty-gritty, isn't it? Venus is void in Aquarius, so that's been the case for a while. Mars is square Neptune, so on the one side you've got the kind of the feminine side of things where the emotions are strong and action is needed, and certainly with that Mercury conjunct Sun, that move to action could very easily come from the feminine side of the energy. But Mars squaring Neptune brings people's motives into question. People have gone forward and done things with the Mars energy, or just with whatever energy they've got, but it's happened basically under the influence of Mars, and the question is, are they doing the right thing? Are they going they might be doing the right thing, but are they going the right way? The motives, why are people wanting to do things? That gets questioned a lot. People tend to be driven more by their ideals, the things, the way they want things to be, rather than the way things are when that's happening. But there you go. That Mars square Neptune, Mars, lots of energy, could even be called hostile at times. Neptune, it's the intuition, it's the psychic, it's the kind of wait and see, it's the just hang on and be calm and try and get things right before we move forward. That kind of energy comes from Neptune. So when those two are square, tensions, basically, it's never really bad news, to be quite honest, in astrology, or at least if it is, it plays out over decades. I was watching something, there's some interesting stuff going to come up in 2020, and I'm going to make a video about it. I was watching some yesterday, and I'm going to do a bit of research before I shoot my mouth off, but you can see a progression of astrological events over the last 90 years or so that are leading to big change around 2020. It's very difficult to call, you know, which way it's going to go, but certainly the unrest is building up in such a way that hopefully we're going to move from the kind of government that we've got at the moment to another kind of government that works better. A lot of people are a bit cynical about it. A lot of people are rather worried about it. But quite honestly, the way the world is governed at the moment is absolutely not working. So we're looking more towards a one world government, which is the new world order that, you know, a lot of people do worry about actually, but we don't know how it's going to play out. We don't really know why they're doing it yet. So I tend not to let that be a worry. It's either going that way or it'll be kind of corporate businesses that run the world. And they can do that ethically. They can do that well. Whether they do or not, I don't know. And at this moment, I'm quite cynical about that in my own mind, if I'm honest. But there's a lot of time. There's a lot of things can happen in the next couple of years as we get towards 2020. So I'm not going to let that be a worry. I am going to make a video about it. I'm always promising videos. I end up not making them. I was going to make one yesterday and I didn't because something came up, but it was really good. Right, for some reason I'm strangely drawn to where it says Jupiter void in Scorpio. Someone out there is going to benefit from hearing this, so I'll give it out. Moral and legal matters come to the fore. And they can be used to justify huge, broad, sweeping actions that make massive changes. Quite often not really justified if you get down to the nitty-gritty of it, put it that way. Quite often not really what it seems to be, but those broad sweeping actions really can come into things. We might see kind of government resignations, anything like that. I've said that once already, but for some reason I wanted to say it again. There must be something in it. Under a Sagittarius moon in the biodynamic cycle, it is a fruit day. It can be fruity. Fruit doesn't grow great in West Wales here, or at least it hasn't done. We've got some new kind of hybrid trees, which are, I don't know, probably got some dreadful genetic thing going on in them, but they grow. But not at this time of year. So if I'm outside today, I'm certainly going to be working on anything to do with those or around my fruit trees. In spiritual terms, it can just get a bit fruity, and that can be a good thing as well as a bad thing. You know, it's what you make it. Life is what you make it. What you make of the astrology is what you make it. It's all up to you. The most important interpretation of any of this is what you think about it. Very seriously. That's what it's about. That's what it's for. Quick look at spaceweather.com. Solar wind speed right down today, 330.4 kilometers a second, 5.7 protons a cubic centimeter. The proton density, that is right down as well. But sunspot number 2699 is getting bigger. It's more than doubled in size since it appeared on the 4th of February, which is only 5 days ago. So that could be interesting. There's a definite maybe on some M-class solar flares, which is really going to kind of rack up the solar wind situation, basically, and the possibility of geomagnetic storms in the next week or so, I would think, is massive. Take a look at spaceweather.com. They've got a video of it, this sunspot actually growing. All the information on the coronal hole, all the sunspot and solar wind information is there. One thing I promised to give out, I still don't quite understand it. X-ray solar flares, 6-hour maximum and 24-hour B2 at 0348 UTC. That's, let me see, 12 minutes to 4 this morning in UK time. That is when the solar flares, that's when the readings are taken, basically. I don't think it says anything much more than that, but that is when the readings are taken. Let's have a quick look at this now. 15th of February, solar eclipse in Aquarius, 27 degrees Aquarius, actually. Now, that is going to be quite a thing, but that's not coming up, as I say, till the day after Valentine's Day, and there are other things happening that day as well. So keep your eyes peeled, keep it here, keep it Twig, brother. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a beautiful day, my friends. Goodbye.